Okay folks, welcome back. We're going to do a quick review on the Ozark Trail entry-level baitcaster. Now they do make 3 different other reels besides this one, but this is the Walmart special. Basically what Walmart's carrying with the Ozark Trail baitcaster. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, using it for about 2 months now for fishing on and off. I caught about 10 fish with it so far. I mean, we don't really catch very big bass here in West Virginia. I mean, I think averages are like 1 pound to 2 pound basses here. Occasionally you might catch a big trophy like a 4 and a 5 in one of these rivers. I've caught like maybe 10 or 11 fish with it so far. Caught like maybe 4 or 5 bluegill. I caught a few smallmouth bass with it and a few largemouth bass with it, so I can kind of give you my thoughts on this reel and rod setup. Just a quick review. Let's break the rod down. The rod is 24-ton graphite, which that's sort of like IM6 graphite, not IM7 or 8. So it's got a decent graphite blank. It's very similar to the Abu-garcia Black Max type of blanks. It's got an Evo handle, steel eye guides, which is great for using braided lines if you so choose to. And it's got a split handle. Now, one thing about the rod I do not like is the split handle, and the graphite seat on the rod is really good. I like it. I like the screw-in cap over molded foot, which is great, instead of the whole, like most Shakespeare rods, they have that little screw-in that goes over the top of the graphite foot. So that right there will make your reel last a lot longer. It won't chew up your reel foot that much. Now the reel itself is 1 gears. That means it's got 6 gears, and it is 6:4 to 1 gear ratio. It's rated for 8-pound test at 210 yards, 12-pound test at 165 yards, and the 15-pound test to 155 yards line. The rod is rated for 6 to 12-pound test. The weight of lure that you would want to use on this are 1.4 to 7/8 ounces of a lure. 6'6" rod, medium action, so it's not medium heavy, so it's like basically medium. So this is like in between medium and light, ultra lightweight fishing, so you can kind of get away with using lighter lines with this rod. If it was an IM7, it would be a medium moderate. If it was an IM8 graphite blank, it would be medium heavy. I do like this rod. The rod is done really well. The only thing I don't like about the rod is the stupid split handle. I hate split handles. I don't know why they didn't just use a whole Evo handle. Now, 2 gripes I got about the reel is that when you're reeling it, it makes this like dinging noise. And if you know anything about baitcasters, if you had more of an expensive brand of baitcaster like a Fluger, Quantum, a Shimano, or even a Ardent, or any other model that's a name brand, it wouldn't make a clinging noise when you reel it. As you could hear, there was that dinging noise. You may not have heard it with all the traffic going up the road. It does make an annoying dinging noise, and sometimes when you pull it, when you set the drag tight, sometimes the drag will either slip or it will be way too tight when you set it to the drag setting that you want. So that's another gripe I have about the reel. But other than that, it's really smooth. It will burn a lure, and it's held up so far. I mean, maybe down the road in the future it may not hold up to the abuse of, you know, fishing it hard. I say it's a good entry-level baitcaster for a kid. You know, something, if you don't want to spend say what, I don't know, $200, $300 on a Bass Pro Shop or a Shimano or a Fluger or a more expensive Abu-garcia baitcaster. I mean, it's about, to me, it's on par with one of those Cast King type of cheapo baitcasters, or pin fast, or whatever the hell they're called, So-Yang type of baitcasters that you're gonna get on Amazon. But it works. I mean, if you're hard up for money and you don't got 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 dollars to buy a Lose or a more expensive brand of baitcaster combo, it does work. It doesn't work like maybe a more expensive brand's baitcaster, but it does work. I mean, I got no complaints. It would work fairly well. The magnetic brake system works really well. It casts and flips and pitches just like any other baitcaster. It works fine. I mean, I can flip this underneath docks and everything else. It's a good entry-level baitcaster. If you can't afford a more expensive baitcaster, I recommend it. I recommend you to get it for that, or for a kid that, you know, is going to be rough on equipment. Just get them that, to get them started out with a baitcaster. It's really easy to cast. I use it every once in a while to catch a few fish. But if you're wanting something more expensive, I recommend you to get a Daiwa or a Quantum or Shimano or a Abu-garcia, Fluger, you know, anything that's a better brand name than this. Honestly, out of the box, the rod really is the best part of this whole combo. I think the rod is great. The reel is okay. It's not bad. I mean, I've had a little bit of experience with it. I'd say it would probably cast better with braid, and I found with the sweet spot with this reel is 12-pound test. I've tried 14, but it's so heavy you won't get much line on there, and castability is kind of hard, and sensitivity with monofilament. I'd say probably fluorocarbon and like 30-pound braid on this reel would probably be a lot better than the monofilament I've been using on it. Now the line that came with it originally sucked. It kept fraying off. I kept losing fish because they were breaking off on the cheap line that came on with it. So I put some Berkeley big game trilene on it, and it stopped having that issue. I used 12-pound test because when you're, if you know anything about bait casters, when you're casting a bait caster, it puts a lot of stress on your knot and your tie off on your hook or your lure or whatever. So I kind of use a little bit beefier line on a bait caster. It's not like a spinning rod where, you know, you get nice flawless finesse casts, you know, with little or less ease. You kind of gotta really zing this out to get it to cast right. The magnetic brake system works real good. It locks into the anti-backlash knob right here really well to kind of key it in to where you can cast it really good. It does cast far once you dial it in, and it does have a nice fast tip. It's really fast, so you may want to use braid for this or fluorocarbon, like a really stiffer line than monofilament. But if you're going to use monofilament, use something a little bit heavier if you're up in the northern woods. But if you're using this in, like, say Florida, I recommend you to go with like a 30-pound braid or a 40-pound braid, or maybe even a 15 to 14-pound test monofilament. Okay, I give this product a 3 out of 5. I think it's good, but it's not really good enough. I would have gave it a 4 if the reel didn't have a few issues like that when I was using it. The stupid the drag system on it would slip a little bit every once in a while, or it would cause the line to get too tight, which I do not like, and it has that annoying dinging noise like a lot of cheap reels have. I'd say this is probably going to be better than your Shakespeare Alpha baitcaster combos. You're probably about on par with those Cast King El Cheapo combos you're going to get on Amazon. It's pretty good. It works. I mean, I give it 3 out of 5. It's usable, and I do recommend it for a first time. I do recommend it for a person trying to get into a first time getting into a baitcaster. I do like it. I think it's a great product. 3 out of 5 ain't bad. I do recommend it if you're on a budget, and I do recommend it if you're new to baitcasters and you don't want to spend a bunch of money on a baitcaster that you're just going to use and abuse and you don't really care about even cleaning. 32 bucks out the door. Yeah, I get it. It works great. 3 out of 5, but I don't give it 5 because if it was like perfect, it would be like a Abu-garcia Revo or a Abu-garcia Black Max or Pro Series or a Silver, or a Fluger, or even a Shimano Dorado, or one of those type of more expensive brands, or a Quantum Fusion, or you know, one of the more expensive brands. Even Bass Pro Shop Pro Light Series reels are better than this. But you know, out the door for 32 bucks, yeah, I get it. It works fine. I use it all the time. I'm always on budget gear, and I use budget gear a lot, so this does work and come in handy. You know, it works in a pinch. It works good with Texas rig, heavy worms, weighted worms. I've used Cinco's wacky rig style. It works. I've used chatter baits with it. I've used spinner baits with it already. I've used some of those topwater poppers. I've used a few walking baits, like Hedon baits with it, and it works fine with those. It works really well. If you want it to if you want it to sink, you might want to use some braid or some fluorocarbon with the reel. Okay, this has just been a quick review on the Ozark Trail combo from baitcaster combo from Walmart. I gave it a generous 3.5 stars. It works really well, and there's a few quirks about the rod and reel I don't like and I like. That's just my own overall opinion about this product. Please, if you like this video, please hit the like, share, subscribe on the video, and tell me what you think. This has been your old pal Hondo. You put God first, he puts you first every time, and you know what else, YouTube? God loves you. So does Hondo. Peace out.